And welcome to Funny Talk with Mangelli and Max and our special guest, Anita Wise. Hi, Anita.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Hi,
Hi,
Anita.
Tom.
Hi, Doug.
And for those listening on audio only, you can't see Tom has a large cat on his lap.
On my belly.
On your
This is
belly.
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Where does the belly stop and the lap begin, Tom?
There is no lap
Okay. You could never have a lap dog.
or a lap dance.
They would fall, they would roll down. Anyway, enough about you, Tom. Stop being so egomaniacal and talking about yourself.
Sorry.
We should talk to our guest, Anita. So Tom and I both know Anita, one by reputation, which we'll get to, and through a local comedian's breakfast that we'd been doing in pre-COVID times, and just was a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
it was originally started by one of the preeminent comedian, one of the preeminent comedians. Anita, you might be another one, of our area, Julia Scotti, who I know Anita and I both love.
Yes.
So, Anita, tell us about yourself. Come clean.
Come clean. Well, lately it's kind of boring, but
3 minutes and go.
go. Doug and I we went to the same university, Washington U, yep, in St. Louis. So there's that. I lived in New Hope for a while. I was a bartender and did a bunch of other stuff. And then I moved to New York and became a comedian. And then I moved to LA then, and I did some things. Did the Tonight Show and Bob Hope special and Seinfeld, couple episodes, stuff like that. And then an old love came back into the picture, and I moved back east.
Well, that's a very impressive resume there.
Oh, thank you.
You also did a show called Corpsing. Was that a movie? Corpsing?
No, that is actually, I have no idea what that is. I saw that one time in IMBD or something, right?
Yeah, you were getting.
Yeah, I have no idea. No, if I did that, I was
And you
unaware.
were an assistant.
I filmed a movie completely unaware that I did it. No, I don't know what that is or why. I have no idea why it's there. I didn't do it.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about that. It was a very weird. The plot about a woman who worked in like a morgue and built a boyfriend out of the remains of men and fell in love with what she built.
Oh, like now I can't remember the name, but you know the
Frankenstein.
Yeah. No, it's a Greek thing, but I can't. It'll come or it won't. I don't know. But well, that sounds fascinating. So where'd she get the parts? Tell me.
I have no. Oh, from
Mr. Potato Head.
But I wanted to talk to you about that because it reminded me of a female comedian here who was just starting, and she did a little joke about how she had read that plants have all the senses that humans have. You know, not all together, but you know, one plant has the ability to sense, can see light and dark, and another can hear, and another reacts to touch.
Wow.
And I thought she should write a joke about getting into genetically modifying a plant to make her a man. You know, with all the senses, you could get a man with complete all the senses together. And when she wanted a good time, she'd just give it a little miracle grow.
There you go. Yeah.
The hell with that. We should raise plants to have a sense of humor.
You know, I'm going to be raising plants in the spring. I have my neighbor wanted to get rid of half of his garden, so I volunteered to take it. It was very nice of him to give it. Actually, it wasn't a garden. It's a pile of dirt. Doug, you want some dirt? And you want to pay to have it loaded over the fence?
And you went for it?
I'm a good gardener, but my girlfriend wants vegetables and stuff, and I don't eat vegetables. So all that work is I'll put some flowers in or something to make me happy, I guess.
Oh, well, maybe if you grow your own, they say when it's your own, you really love them. So maybe that applies to vegetables too. My big fear is that, like, what I fear is if when I die, that I will see the plants that I've killed. That's what I'm afraid, that they'll be there waiting for me, and because that's what it scares
me. Broccoli.
and the broccoli I didn't eat. Yeah.
That flows from that same story. If plants have senses, something, we'd have like mass suicides of vegetarians if that news ever broke.
Really? No, I've heard it before, and I had the same, like, when I've been chopping things, I've been like, I sure hope there's no consciousness in this thing, because I'm about to chop it in a million little pieces and
that was just
stuff to it.
Like that, you did it no harm. I wonder, are there really? I never thought of that. Are there serious people that are so into plants that they believe it's their duty to kill animals and not kill plants? And what do you think?
I think for any crazy thing you can think of, I think there's someone who thinks it. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, they're there somewhere. If this year didn't prove it, I don't know which one will.
Anita, in doing my intense research of you, I uncovered that you were on the evening at the Improv a number of times, and I saw a set of yours, and I swear to God, I don't know if it was the 90s, but I swear I like remembered it, and I remember things that I think are very, very funny. And you went on a date. You went on a date with a Jewish guy. You were not having a good time with dates too well. It sounded like my set. This Jewish guy's house during the holidays, their Hanukkah, and they lit candles. And what did you do?
I made a wish and blew them out. Yep. Yeah. Yep. I still use that one. Yep.
I had a really dark joke about dating a non-Jewish woman who gave me a hug, and then I saw her like keep her elbows at the same width of my body, and then kind of walk backwards to the oven to kind of see if I did.
Oh dear.
That wasn't a date that I wanted. That didn't work out.
No, it sounds like a hot date though.
And also you did material about very obscure. I was surprised about taking care of your car. I'm a DIY mechanic.
Oh yeah.
Save money by doing things myself. So you dusted off your engine. And you check your own oil.
Yes.
You had a hard time pouring the oil back in that tiny little hole.
In the tiny hole. Well, where there was a point in my younger years where I wanted to be empowered and do things myself. And I had a little Honda Civic. And I actually, I kind of really got into it. And the thing that made me stop and say, okay, maybe I'll just leave this I changed my oil one time. I changed it. I did that. And I was pretty impressed. Anyway, the thing that made me stop was, so I was cleaning the carburetor jets. And I was kind of getting into it with a toothpick, and not a toothpick, a Q-tip. And I dropped it, I let go of it, and it went into the carburetor. And I thought, I am not going to the mechanic with a Q-tip in my carburetor. I just cannot bear to explain what was going on that happened. So I figured it out. I managed to fish it out, and I thought, okay, that's it. That let mechanics do what they do, and I'll just call it a day on that. But
Mechanics range. And listen, you left a Q-tip in. Mechanics have left nuts and bolts and forgot to plug up wire. Mechanics have tightened wheels. Mechanics come in. They come in classes. There's
Right.
mechanics
Right.
and there's people that shouldn't even change oil.
They're people too. Mechanics are people too, is what you're saying. Yeah, they're only human, is what you're saying.
And that's why
Some of them are plants.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah, yeah.
Mechanic. Anyway, no, that's what prompted me to start working on my car. I can remember righty-tighty and lefty-loosey. It also prompted me to, provide my friends minor surgeries at a discount rate.
What prompted me actually was Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
There you go.
Yeah. And there was one point where he had to make do, and he made a little gasket out of a cardboard match cover. It just sort of made me realize you can approach mechanics a little bit like cooking. Like, you want an end result, and how you get there, there's not only just one way,
That's exactly right. I like teach people how to work on their car, even though I'm not a mechanic. It's not my car, so whatever I tell them,
whatever
on the internet. But one of the greatest lessons I learned about DIYing, I remember the first time I changed my oil, and it was freaking me out. I think I'm going to open up the wrong bolt, and fluid's going to come out. I won't be able to drive to get oil, and I'll be stuck. All that. And I was very proud. All I did was undo and not. When you're done with it, you realize, but getting under the car.
Right.
One of my favorite lessons of working on the car is once you diagnose the problem and can figure out what part it probably is. The owner of my auto shop says he can train a monkey to change out parts. The hard part is figuring out. And now with the internet, it's a lot easier to figure out what might be wrong. So
right.
The other is you learn how to put in the part by taking the old one out. So you get the whatever it is, an alternator, and you see it in there, and like, what do I have to get out of the way to get that in there? It's exactly what. And
just do it in reverse. And if you're smart, you videotape yourself doing it.
Yep.
I never killed somebody working on my car. I had to change a tire, and so I was able to change it, but it was so hard to get the lug nuts off. I was jumping on the.
You didn't have enough torque.
I was twerking, but I didn't have torque. So I was hopping up and down on it. It was such a hard thing to do. So I changed out the tire, and I put the lug nuts back on, and I thought, I am not going to have this problem again. I am not tightening these as much as before.
Uh-oh.
So that went all right for a day or two. And then one day, my car just starts veering off to the right, and I see a tire flying in the air towards a car coming towards me, and the driver inside going, like, it went over his head, and it was like, whew, okay, that was another moment where I thought, you know what, just leave it to the professionals. It's like, there's a learning curve here, and somebody's going to die before you figure this out. So
I know just enough about cars to realize that I know nothing about cars. One time I tried changing my tire. I realized there was a donut, and that was it. Game over.
Hey, how come there isn't any glazing in this trunk? You really don't know about cars, Tom.
No, I'm clueless.
Anita, anytime you want to get back into DIYing, I'm very experienced. You can bring the car up, we'll change the oil, do a video. Tom will videotape us, and we'll have a comedy oil change. I've been wanting to do DIY videos.
Well, you used to have a podcast about cars.
I did, where we talked about cars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know Tommy Highland, he does them. He does DIY, DIY
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah,
video
yeah.
for home construction projects.
Right.
And they're pretty funny. They're great. And he does good work. So yeah. Yeah. So I check the oil. I don't have any desire anymore to change the oil, but I did, you know, I found this brochure in my glove box that I don't know, I was trying to change the time or something. And I started leafing through so much fascinating material in there. Like there's a little chart that tells you what all the lights mean when they come on, you know, because they're just like, I don't know what it is, you know. So, well, I know the one is not a gravy boat. I know that when that one's splashing for a week, that's actually, that's your genie needs refilling. Yeah, is what that is. Yeah. So, but it's, yeah, I like to at least have a little idea what's going on under there, but I really don't know much.
You know, as long as you keep track of changing the oil regularly, as you should, and most people do it more often than they probably need to. I get into a lot of fights on my car forums about this because I'll go a year, I'll go 12,000 miles on a fully synthetic oil. You can't do that with all oils, but a good fully synthetic oil, you can go a year. But
I use extra virgin olive oil.
And you also change your air filter, which is pretty easy to get to.
Yep, that's easy. That's a good one.
And then there's the cabin air filter, the one that brings the air into the cabin. Most cars now have an air filter for that.
I didn't know that. I'll have to look at that up. Is that easy to get to?
What kind of car do you have now?
I inherited this car from my mother-in-law. It's a 2004 PT Cruiser.
Ooh.
And on Breaking Bad, did you see Breaking Bad?
I didn't, but yeah,
Okay, well, I can tell you this without spoiling the whole series. There's a point where a young man was promised a really hot car and he couldn't keep it. So for his birthday, his mother bought him a car. And apparently from his reaction, it was like the polar opposite of a cool car. And it was exactly my car. It was a gray PT Cruiser. My suspicions are confirmed. Yeah.
It rode great on the highway, that it was really a great cruising car. So
I like it. I love it. I was sleeping in it this summer when I was going down last summer. The one before, actually, not this past. I was driving to North Carolina a few times, and I just outfitted the back so I could take naps and sleep in it, and I loved it. It was like camping.
Back seat, or did you fold down the rear seat and
I fold down the rear seat, and it made a platform. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. I sleep in my car all the time, except it's usually when I'm driving.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah.
great. That's good news. Good news.
If comedy doesn't work out for you, buddy, I think there could be a great business for you as an adventure ride operator you'll call it the narcoleptic Uber driver. Take your chances.
No, I'll be the narcoleptic safari park driver. I'll drive you right into that herd of buffalo.
Did you ever go on that safari at Six Flags?
Yeah, I just went this, what was it? I guess not this past summer, the one before.
Was that
man.
they took away? Didn't you go in with like a knife and a fork and they took it away at the entrance?
No.
You can't see the orangutans are separated now, right?
Yeah.
Or is that what they are? Orangutans? Yeah. Or baboons. No, they're baboons.
Oh yeah, baboons.
Well, when my mother was alive, towards the end, she had no short-term memory. I mean, it was dementia, but I said she had a very Zen existence because she was totally in the moment like not the last moment. You had to remind her every moment, but she loved animals. So a couple times I took her to the safari where you drive through and look at the animals, and she loved it. She loved it. So one time I went with my mother-in-law and my mother. My mother's in the front seat and my mother-in-law is in the back seat. And we get through, we're having a good time. The giraffe comes by, you know, the water buffalo are in the water. And then we get to the baboon enclosure. And right away, the baboons are all over the car. And my mother-in-law was kind of a prissy, I mean, she was a great person, very down to earth in a lot of ways, but bodily things, she was not for that. And so she was not enjoying this. And they were on top of the car, you could hear them. And then one baboon climbs up on the front of the windshield, and he was like, you couldn't see him except from the waist down, and he was smashing his genitals right in the windshield. And she was so disgusted, she went, "Oh my word," and she turned her head sideways just as a stream of yellow urine came down her window.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
She was so disgusted. She was, and I could hardly, I still laugh thinking about it because she was so grossed out. She was like, "Oh," just worse. Oh my God. You know, and it was yeah, the next time we went, they were totally enclosed and they can't get on your car anymore because they were getting too aggressive. But oh my God, that was so funny. It was worth having to go to the car wash to get it out. It was totally great. Yeah.
Of a great car prank I saw. It's of a snow-covered car, and this guy took two boots and like made footprints on the hood, like he was standing on the hood, and then green Gatorade and like he was peeing on the window. He left some note like you park like an idiot. You know?
Oh, yeah, that would be pleasant to see.
Yeah.
So, Anita, I know this isn't you, but I'm sure our audience would be interested to hear what you thought of your Seinfeld experience. You were a waitress, I believe?
I was a waitress, yeah. Well, okay. It was, now I knew Jerry and Larry David from the Improv in New York. They were people I knew, you know, I looked up to, but, you know, they were well known to me. And I actually, and at that time in LA, a lot of New York comics were moving to LA, and they were getting development deals, some of them, and they were getting pilots, sitcom pilots. And most of the time they didn't go anywhere. Some of them really went far, but like Ray Romano's went really far, and a few other people. But anyway, so I had to audition for a pilot that had Jerry Seinfeld. So I thought, oh, cool. So I was reading with Jerry for the part of Elaine, the girlfriend, which I obviously didn't get because, and they said, we kind of want her to be a little bitchy. We want her to have like a bitchy side, his girlfriend. So they gave me the part of the waitress, which at the time, and I don't know if it's true, but Jerry told me it was going to be a recurring part. Wow. Like I was married to the owner of the diner in the original conception. There's nothing in the script about that, and it didn't happen. But in their minds at that moment, that's what I might have had. So anyway, so I got booked as the waitress, and I was happy. And it wasn't too, I mean, I was happy and I wanted to do a good job, but I watched the show and I thought, this is not going to go. It's just not going to go. It's so smart. It's so funny. They're not going to like it. You know, I had like no confidence in the American viewing public, you know, at all. I thought, there's no way it's going to go. It's too funny. It's too smart. It's too hip for the room, I thought. I mean, I loved it. And what was cool about it is the early scripts had parts from their act. Like a lot of Larry David's acts that I heard him tell the stories a lot of time are now in the script. So that was kind of fun to watch it being acted out.
I always knew I related to Larry David's humor more than Jerry's humor.
Mm-hmm.
I love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I was thinking of my favorite Curb episode, where he was on a ski lift with an Orthodox Jewish woman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that, but they're on a ski lift that's broken down and it's about to be night. And she's like 25 years old. And she's like, I can't be with you after dark because I'm Orthodox. And he's like, well, I'm sure they'll fix the ski lift and we'll get down. And it's getting darker and darker. And she's beginning to worry she's going to violate her faith. They're like 30 feet up in the air. And he's like, what do you want me to do? You want me to jump down here to preserve you? She's like, yes, you have to jump. You have to jump. Anyway, the end of the show is, he's like, I'm not jumping. It's 30 feet. And that scene ends with her jumping down and you hear a thump.
Oh, that's horrible. But funny.
But yeah, it's I can see you take a real life thing and you put a little spin on it, and that
Yeah.
your stories, all the stories that I heard on your evening on the Improv were all really funny and smart. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to watch it again. Whoops.
You had to go to school because you didn't want to. You went to therapy or something. You went to a support group for people that couldn't make left-hand turns.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, right. I had this car, the car I bought when I first got to LA, the only car I had when I was in LA. I bought it. It was a 1978 Mercury Grand Marquis. And it was huge.
Yeah, they're like boats.
It was enormous. To give you an idea, I'm 5'5", I could lay full length on the hood from windshield to bumper. I mean, and so that's why making a left turn was totally an act of faith, because I could not see. Half my car was in the intersection before I could see what was happening. So that was very scary. So that's why I made that joke that I had to make 3 right turns just to get wherever I went. And I would literally do that. If the intersection looked a little hairy, I said, fuck it, I'm going right. I'm just going right till I get where I'm going.
When I went to a gig, I had to do that same thing. He was in the passenger seat.
Who?
And Tom is a hefty guy. So we were trying to get down to, where were we trying to get down to, Tom?
Was it Maryland, Delaware?
Yeah, Delaware. We had to swing out towards Long Island in order to get the arc to end us up in, never mind, that doesn't work. We got to go someplace else. I think it works better that we had to go through Pittsburgh to get to Lake Placid.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I've made a promise not to make fun of Tom and his weight if he doesn't make fun of the fact that nobody ever laughs when I do what I call stand-up comedy.
Oh, like fair trade.
The other thing I wanted to tell you, the one episode of Evening of the Improv of yours I saw was hosted by Pat Paulsen, who I used to love. I had memorized an entire monologue of Pat Paulsen back when he was running for president. I forget I couldn't do it now anymore. But, back in the day when you can only hear people, I had a record or whatever, I heard it over and over again. I had memorized.
Right.
I ended up years later going to Pat Paulsen's winery. And
I didn't know he had one. Huh.
He had a winery. He had a wonderful Muscat Cannoli. Not a cannoli, Tom. Dessert wine. You ever have that?
No.
I may have, I don't know.
Yeah, the Pat Paulsen winery. He had an award-winning Muscat Cannoli.
Cool.
Okay.
Ow.
So Anita, I have to apologize. I'm not speaking much. I just got out of the hospital. I was in there for 4 days.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they kicked me out because they were running out of Jello.
I wanted to
How-
talk about that too. So we're glad to have you back with us in the living, Tom.
Thank you.
Are you feeling all right?
I'm feeling better. Had nothing to do with COVID.
Uh-huh.
It was a nasty infection in my leg, but
Uh,
feeling better.
good.
But I'm a little mushy. I ended up working today. I was supposed to stay home. I ended up working, and I'm a little wiped out right now.
Okay.
I just
Well, we'll
want,
go easy on you.
it hurts my feelings a little bit when you have serious medical conditions and you don't call me first, Tom.
Wow.
I called 911. Why wouldn't you call me? $129 for surgery. How bad can it be? You know, so I get it wrong. We try something else. Okay, somebody want to suggest a topic?
Well, Doug and I were talking about comfort foods before you came on, and now that I'm sick, I'm looking for comfort foods. What kind of comfort foods did you enjoy growing up?
Oh, I didn't have mac and cheese growing up, but that's the one that I like now. Growing up, my mother used to make junket. Remember that?
What's that?
I don't even know. It's like a pudding. It's called rennet junket, something like that. And it came in a box, and it was like a pudding but it isn't. And I really don't know what it was, but I loved the flavor of it. It was soft and silky, like almost like a flan, you know?
Yeah.
And it came in a little box, and I don't look for pudding anymore, so I don't know if it's still there actually, but it used to come like actually in a little tube. There were little, yeah, it's like we're going way back in my brain right now, but I loved when she made that. And then she was a career woman before she got married. She was a dancer. So she kind of learned on the fly when she got married. That's when she began to learn to cook. And she became a very good cook and a really good baker too over the years. But early on, I remember being little, and she had bought a box for a pie crust, the Mighty Fine pie crust.
Okay, yeah.
So she was working on that, and it wasn't going well. And at a certain point, she took the ball of batter, and she was French. She threw it in the sink, and she went, "Why do they say easy as pie? It is not easy." So I've been intimidated to try pie because, it is not easy. So
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was funny at the time. I thought, oh, she's right. Why do they say that if it's this hard? It was very frustrated. I don't know what went wrong, but yeah. So she made this thing. She made a cheese souffle, which was apparently a lot of work, but man, that was good. That was like just like what it sounds, cheese mousse. It was just a Gruyere cheese and egg and whipped up, and it would puff up and make this beautiful. She only made that like a few times, but they were like, that was my favorite that she ever made. That was so good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time, but what were your favorite comfort foods, Tom?
Me?
Just
I always liked the pastina with butter. That was like usually when we got sick, we got to have pastina or farina. Hate Joe farina, but my mother would crack an egg and sift out the white and use only the red of the egg, the yolk of the egg, and mix it in real fast to give added protein and a little bit of sugar, and that was like.
Oh, that does sound good.
You remind me the first time we went to Italy, my ex-wife was born in Italy. and it still had family there. We went there. We were staying in a little bed and breakfast, the two of us and the two boys. And it was the first day we had gotten there. We were starving for breakfast. And she ordered scrambled eggs for us. They came back. It was like a half an hour later. It took a long time. With 4 wine glasses filled with raw egg, a little bit of wine and sugar. With raw egg. They went to the chicken house to get it.
Wow.
That was there. She had ordered scrambled eggs. That's what they gave us. So she had explained to them that she wanted it cooked. And fortunately, she speaks Italian, so we got that cooked. But,
Wow, weird.
yeah,
You're supposed to just eat it that way? That's how they do?
I shouldn't say anything because my people have gefilte fish, so.
Yeah. But I just didn't know they did that. That's interesting. Raw egg white kills biotin. I don't know if you knew that.
It does what?
Raw egg white kills biotin?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I love biotin.
Well, don't eat
We
raw egg.
don't want to kill biotin, do we?
Hmm?
Do we want to kill biotin?
What is
we don't.
biotin?
I don't know, but it's good for hair and nails.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I don't know what it is, but you need it. And if you eat egg white, you'll kill it. I don't know much more than that. We've hit the limit of my knowledge about the total sum, everything of what I know about biotin.
Tom, we should maybe do our next show on biotin. That sounds like.
What happened? You froze for a second. I missed what you said.
We should do a show on biotin. And we can put it up. Now, we're going to be getting emails from our 2 audience members, our 2. And tell us more. We want to know about. Don't bring up biotin and not. You're killing it, but you don't. I think we should bring. I have some relatives that are in the biology field. Maybe we could get some biotin experts.
That would be fascinating.
Fun with biotin.
Our show. If you've watched our show, you would appreciate. Our audience would find a biotin special like the best show ever.
Right.
What about then cuticle trimming, Tom? We could do a show like that.
Cuticle trimming?
Ooh, I'll skip that one.
Yeah. I'm a lifelong nail biter myself.
Maybe you need more calcium or protein.
I think he needs biotin.
He needs biotin. Yeah, you're right. Hair and nails. He does. He needs biotin. That's what it is. Yeah.
You want it? We should write a song, a biotin song for our biotin special, Tom.
Or what do you say we rewrite the Wizard of Oz, and instead of the Tin Man, we'll have the Biotin Man.
Oh, yes. We could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I need more gelatin.
I have a kitten, and she's banging into the ring light, and she's attacking me. So I'm sorry for the distraction.
What's your kitten's name?
Her name is Melody, or
Melody.
Well, it was either that or stop that. This is her. Here she is.
Oh, Melody.
Where's
How
Melody? She is. I miss her.
She bites and scratches. I'm covered in wounds. Oh my God.
My last cat was great, but died of feline leukemia at 5 years old. I was very upset.
Oh. When you were 8?
I had to tell her everything twice.
The cat?
And that's why I called her Echo. Her name was
Oh.
Echo because I had to tell her everything twice. Oh, and that reminds me of another joke of yours, Anita. We're just gonna build out our show with the funny. We're just gonna take
the greatest hits or something. Okay.
You went to LA, and all these women are getting their breasts enlarged left and right.
That's funny. I wrote that. I love it.
I know. I left it too, but the audience, the audience skipped by it that one night. They were waiting for what you were saying next. And you know what happens all the time? It's so frustrating when you do something that you know every audience will get. You know, and you run into this audience and you want to stop and go, "Are you guys? What am I doing this for?"
That reminds me, a long time ago, there was that movie, My Left Foot.
Oh, great movie, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis. And you know who John Mendoza is? Anyway, he's a very funny man, and he was doing this joke in New York at the Improv. He was doing this joke, and he was getting an argument from a friend of ours, Rick Siegel, that there was no punchline. But the joke was, that movie, you know, Daniel Day-Lewis, I understand they're going to do, that he was in that movie, My Left Foot. I understand they're going to do a sequel. And so Rick was going, there's no punchline. We're like, there's a punchline. It just happens in your head.
Yeah, it's an implied punchline.
Yeah. It's like an interior, like, I love that joke. It's so ridiculous.
What's that, Doug? Yeah, Doug is actually allergic to punchlines.
Oh, you don't like them? Yeah, well, you know.
No, Tom is, I actually have them, but I hide them. I'm mostly, I think it's fair to say I'm mostly a storyteller. And so my punchlines come in, you know, hiding along the way in the natural telling of the story, or the unnatural telling of the story, or something like that. I've gotten a laugh, Tom. You make it sound like I've never gotten a laugh.
No, you get laughs all the time. It's just not on stage.
Yeah, Doug, it's because of the way you dress. You should.
A lull has happened.
Yes. Embrace the lull.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know why a friend of mine posted something. I realized Valentine's Day is coming up in a month, right? I got to remember that. Dates you forget. You gonna get Joey something for Valentine's Day, Tom?
No, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I celebrate the day after when the candy goes on sale.
Good
Okay.
one.
What else? Anita, how are you managing with our COVID times?
I'm taking a lot of hikes, and I'm on an upswing now. I'm like carving out a routine, and it's modest. I admit that, but it's something, and I'm going to use it to crawl into a little more productivity. And basically, this is really very impressive. I get up, I make the bed, I shower, I dress.
That's a day.
I'm on my way. You're right. And makeup. Stop it. See, I'm saying stop it because she's attacking. Yeah, makeup, because when it just, you know, fresh underwear, fresh clothes every day, and and that is, I'm sorry.
That's good.
Where's duct tape when you need it?
How often you change your underwear? And I didn't ask you. One of our fans wrote in, wanted to know how often you change your underwear. And I'm like, I'm not going to ask Anita that. Maybe it'll come up in conversation, though.
Well, pretty much every day you can tell him, lately. I mean, ouch. Oh, my God. You're really annoying, my cat. Sorry.
I don't know what, a gnome.
Anyway, she's really, really cute and really, really annoying. Like, I posted today on Facebook, I said, anybody want a kitten? Something like that. Look at my arm. It's like it's covered. You can't see. Well, you can. There you go. Look at all that. And I've got like wounds on my lips. Like she bit me on the lips. I looked in the mirror. I'm like, did I have chocolate? Like, why is blood? Oh my God. You know, it's like she's.
Anita, when I first got my cat as a rescue, first of all, it took a full year for me to be able to pet him. For a whole year, I looked like one big hashtag. He was so very trust issues. You know, he didn't trust me for anything, and he just like lash out all the time. And I was on my way to well, it was a gig, I guess. I started out with Uncle Floyd.
Oh,
Yeah, he would bring me up out of the audience and let me do 5 minutes. So I was just about to leave to go to Colucci's to meet Floyd, and the cat decides he's going to take his claws, which still weren't trimmed, go at my face, and it got caught in my cheek for like 10 minutes, and he's hanging there, and I'm trying, and I can't touch him to get it out because he would like attack me when my hand would come near him.
Why were you trying to get him off your face? That would be an amazing act.
Let me tell you, it was something to behold.
Oof. Horrible.
That one stuck his claws into mine. They hurt.
Yeah.
Well, an inch over, and he would have taken my eye out.
I know. I'm thinking of sleeping with goggles. Seriously, because all of a sudden he'll be like on my head. I'm like, oh, you're so annoying. It's like living with remember the Pink Panther with living with Kato, you know, the manservant who would just come out and attack him. That's what it's like. It's just so scary. But
I saw that recently, one of the episodes, and that the dynamic. I love Peter Sellers. Was one of my favorite actors of all times.
Yeah,
he was brilliant in that movie.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. When I was in grad school, I lived in the International Housing Building. Why, I don't know. But one of my roommates was from mainland China. And he had this name that it was like impossible to pronounce. So I asked him if I can call him Kato. He said no.
And what was his name?
When I asked him, I said, my name is Tom. What's your name? And he say, Xiao Ku. And I'm like, don't shoot. Xiao Ku. And you have to say it like that. You have to yell it.
Very good. That's good. You know, the very guttural, right?
And it was,
I think, is more guttural. Japanese is more.
Yeah, Japanese is, but he spelled it Xiaoke.
Oof.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fabulous Scrabble word.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that was just his first name.
What was the last? Lee?
That was short. It was Sun, S-U-N.
S-U-N.
You remember the name my friend Kofi knew? We had
his actual name?
No, he knew a guy's name from Africa who's went on. It was like 20 syllables.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It took him 5 minutes to say the name. I've told this story before, but a friend of mine called me up. He goes, Doug, I met the woman I'm going to marry. I'm like, that's great. You know, tell me about your first date. Well, we haven't been out yet. So a few weeks later, they'd been on a date, and he was very excited. He was still sure he was going to marry her. I go, that's great. What's her name? He said, I can't pronounce it.
Nice.
Anyway, he learned how to pronounce it, and I can't say it because in case they're listening to the show, I don't want them to know it's them. But it's a sort of name, you know, there are romantic names you say, you know, and there are other names that you say in not an attractive name. I'll put it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a fascinating story there.
Oh, no.
You need a punchline to get no laughs.
He's working. He's trying. He's trying. So how are you getting through COVID? How are you doing it, Doug?
Well, I've discovered I don't trust most people. So being away from people is not a big problem of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time you get to know people better. They just disappoint you.
Hey, I'm right here.
I'm saving it. You are saving money on gas. We're having family Zoom calls, which are keeping up us. And I think in some ironic ways, this isolation has built us through another vehicle. I also have a theory that I believe the COVID virus was started by the Zoom people.
Yep.
I even think of the comedian's breakfast. You've got a table of 20 people all in a noisy whatever trying to get, you can't, think of a family dinner, Thanksgiving, you can't relate. But on Zoom, you can do speaker view and only one person is talking at a time. You can,
Mm-hmm.
something without and whoever, gabbing in the corner or. Yeah.
Right.
So, there's some weird benefits companies have found. They can do business and they don't have people all over the world. It's possible to communicate, even on the phone,
Right.
You don't have to have a meeting. A lot of things going on.
People talk about getting back to normal, but we're not going back to normal. We're going to be doing something a little different, and who knows what it'll be like. It's going to be, I don't know what it'll be like. It's a very weird time. I'm emotional lately. Like today I was very irritable and then I did a little guided meditation and I just relaxed a little. Well, I got high, honestly. That's what happened. But anyway, I relaxed is the bottom line. But there's like a base level of anxiety that's way high now between COVID and this, like wherever you are on the political spectrum, you're upset. You either think your election got stolen or you think your neighbor's gonna shoot you. You don't know what is gonna happen next. And we're all in that boat. And COVID and whatever our own futures are, and the social isolation, I love my bubble, but I sure would like to mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like after a while, it's like, oh, you again? And I do love them. It's just,
And you miss the stage, but you also don't want to die to make, $10 for 5 hours of, driving.
Right. I mean, it is fun and all, but yeah. I do miss it. I miss it. I miss
I
performing.
wouldn't be surprised if our new president institutes a federal mask mandate. And literally, if they really did it and enforced it for 2 or 3 weeks, you'd really knock off the spread for a while and let us catch up with the vaccines and all that. But it's going to take us all. It's got to take, people recognizing what's going on. Senators were huddled under the table in Congress and they got COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Some senators don't happen to believe in viruses or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of unimaginable, like what they're thinking. Like, are they really thinking it's not real, or I don't know what they think. It's a weird time when you have like.
Oh, I know if you don't have anybody close to you that's been affected, it's still kind of like a dream kind of thing that it's not really real in people's heads.
I think they're just careless and uncaring of others. You look at the numbers, you know what the odds are, it spreads a lot more than people die from it. So these are people thinking, I'm strong and healthy, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm young, I exercise, so I get it, I'll have a sore throat, I'm not going to die from it,
And that's probably true. That's probably true. And they also, the thing is, they don't believe the numbers. They don't believe it. They think it's a plot to make Trump look bad or whatever.
That's why the White House asked for all the COVID data to go through the White House and not through the CDC directly. And that really frightened me. Yeah, I keep track of all. It's very frightening. Well, our friend Julia is very political too. And
yes,
she feels like I do something. I don't know what's going to happen, but if Trump goes to prison for as many offenses there's 70 million people in this country that are going to be kind of ticked off about that. So
yeah,
it's a very interesting battle at the soul of our,
yes,
what's the soul of our country going to be?
yep,
And the growth of fake news to the extent you don't know, you hear real news and you don't believe it any more than you believe the fake news. So it's made it, you can believe almost anything you
yeah.
want and support for it, which is a crazy reality, but hopefully soon to be over. Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't know how, but yeah, hopefully it'll be on the way to better, somehow. I don't know. It's a mess. People are so mad, and I don't know how to, you'd need to have every senator, every person in power come out and go, no, we were wrong. Everything was fine. The election was correct. And who knows even if it was. I mean, is there really no fire with all that smoke? Zero, maybe, who knows? I mean, I wasn't there.
So deep into this, it's like the people that believe there is no evolution. They've got all the arguments in their head, and
Yeah.
you can't move them.
No, you can't. So, but somehow we have to come back in the middle. We have to not see each other as cardboard cutouts of something bad, just as people who think differently. And I know that's really hard because, both, whoever it is, they're thinking, it's just hard to reconcile with somebody who thinks so differently than you. So we have to figure it out. We have to find a common ground somewhere, and I don't know where it is.
I explain all that by I studied psychology at Washington, so I am a firm believer in the normal distribution of most human qualities, including intelligence. And what we're seeing are people that have not had the advantages others have being preyed on by these people that are lying to them. They're prey. That's all they are. They're how can I lie to get a vote? And it's unconscionable. And I hope we do see them do that.
Yeah.
Maybe Tom will stop it. You could be our great white hope, Tom.
Great white whale, maybe. What I would like to stop is the throbbing pain in my right leg. I really need to put it up.
Okay.
And I noticed that we're already
done. We've basically done our time of our show. If you want to go and deal with your throbbing pain, Tom, however you do that, it's okay. A great comedy show.
Throbbing pain, otherwise known as Doug Max's stand-up act.
Hey, it's not biotin.
Well, I want to say my goodbyes here. Anita, thank you so much. It's always good to see you. It was great to learn more about you. And Doug,
yeah.
But
one more thing, Tom.
Yes.
What did we forget to do this show?
We forgot to mention our sponsor,
Jack J. Irwin Productions.
That's right. If you want to put together a comedy show for a fundraiser, a corporate event, a showcase at a restaurant, just a private party, you need to write Jack at jirwinproductions.com. He'll put it together for you, and you'll laugh your way. He puts great shows together, and he's great to work with. Right, Doug?
That's absolutely right. Now, during COVID times, write to Jack for a discount comic bathroom cleaner. You want a comic to come and pretend to be a chef for a fine party? $10 an hour. If these people are desperate, they'll do anything. I'd do that. You want a comedy car mechanic working on your car, putting in spark plugs? Hey, where does this thing go? I don't try it in that hole. Okay. Yeah. Like you can get work off of comics like pennies on the dollar now.
You can hire a comedy cat whisperer.
I need that.
So any of that, you write to Jack at jirwinproductions.com. and he'll hook you up.
That's it.
That's it. Anita, it was so nice actually being able to have an entire conversation with you.
Yeah. Yep. And no scrambled eggs. Just talk.
Oh,
Pure
and
unadulterated talk.
I wanted to talk to you as soon as I was thinking about St. Louis. I was thinking of Ted Drew's frozen custard. You remember that?
Who's Ted Cruz?
No, what? Not Ted Cruz. Ted Drew's. Wasn't it called something Drew's frozen custard? Ted Drew's. DREWES.
I don't remember that. I remember the fried ravioli. That's a St. Louis thing. Fried ravioli, Talena.
Amaghetti's. You remember Amaghetti's Bakery that would make submarines in the Italian?
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Where that was on Delmar?
Blueberry Hill.
Blueberry Hill. I was there when it opened.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember when it opened. Yep.
That's when I learned to play darts.
And the Delmar vacuum. There was a store called it was Delmar Avenue, and they sold or fixed vacuum cleaners. And it was my great joy when I walked by Delmar vacuum to like fling myself against the window like I was being sucked in. No, the Delmar vacuum.
I do not remember Delmar vacuum, but
well, why would you? Why would you unless you had a vacuum? You know.
Well, I didn't live in University City either. I think that's right.
Oh well, that'll do it. Yeah.
I lived in Des Moines. I don't know if you knew the Des Moines neighborhood.
On the other side of campus.
I guess he was up. I guess think of it as up the street, but Southwood, Northwood.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago for both of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we did our wash you reminiscing. Oh,
yes, we did.
What was your major?
Animal behavior.
Really?
With Dr. Fox. Yeah. Isn't it? What's his name? Dr. Fox. Yeah.
Ironic.
I remember I took an animal behavior class.
Well, it was with him. English accent.
It might have been. I don't know how I had taken it, but it would have been some sort of elective. But I remember I had made friends with a dog on campus, somebody else's dog, but he and I used to play frisbee all together. And the dog would follow me. I wasn't his owner, but the dog would follow me. And one day I went to this class. It might not have been an animal behavior, but it was a biology class, and I think we were maybe having a quiz on animal behavior. And I walked in, the dog followed me on the day of the quiz, and I asked the professor if it was okay to use a dog on the exam.
At least they didn't dissect him.
Yeah, did not do that. But that was back in the days when you couldn't use a calculator on an exam. Now you could have a smartphone and pass every exam on earth. Right?
Wow.
Just about. Okay. Who says you need punchlines to do comedy? Okay. On that, I don't know, flat note? Why would people want to listen to us again? Don't. Next Tuesday, we're going to have another show. Don't bother. It's okay. We understand. You are great. It's us. It's me.
Anyway, keep the cards and letters coming. It was great to see you all. And until next time, nanu.
Okay, heal fast, buddy.
Yeah,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nita. Bye.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
So.
Stay safe.